Our creators just dropped a blog post explaining how the wipes will work. Let's dive in! Previously, the question of how we'll handle resets or wipes has come up. Until now, the answer has been that currently we do not intend to do mandatory wipes. These words were chosen carefully as we don't intend to have mandatory wipes. However, as some have guessed, we do have a voluntary reset mechanic. Just to make it clear, we absolutely see the benefits of a global wipe provides. Veteran players can experience the game fresh, the economy is reset to the baseline, and all players have about the same level of capabilities, at least for a little while. However, one thing a mandatory wipe does not do is respect the investments of those players who do not have as much time to play overall. So, as we have done with several other mechanics, before mimicking other established mechanics, we'd like to try out our own method, ideally to the end that best suits our creators and a larger majority of its players. Which brings us to the Expedition Project. The tunnel networks connected to Speranza are vast but largely unexplored or inaccessible. Most survivors stay within their settlements, but like the raiders who dare to venture topside, there are those who dare venture even farther. Once the Rust Belt has given all it can offer, some raiders choose to set up beyond the borders of what they know. As of now, this has always been a one-way trip. In the full game, players will have access to a feature called Projects. At level 20, the first major project players will have access to is the Expedition Project. Upon completion, this project makes a character reset available. If a player completes a reset, they'll be able to do so again as long as they complete another of these projects. The Expedition Project will operate on a repeating cycle of roughly 8 weeks. During the course of these 8 weeks, players can contribute toward and make progress on their Expedition Project, which will overall be a somewhat large time investment. At the start of the 8th week, the ability to finalize the project will become available, and will remain available for that entire week. If a player has fulfilled all the necessary stages of the project, they'll be able to commit to completing the expedition during this period. If a player's project is not ready during the window to complete the expedition project, their progress will be kept, allowing them to continue working on the project until the next finalization window. Other projects may be added over time as part of updates, holidays, and other events. These will range in scale and reward structure. So, what do you keep through an expedition versus what is lost? Players will lose anything inherent to their character's progress. Levels, skills, items, inventory, workshop, crafting capabilities, etc. Players will keep cosmetics, earned or purchased, awards, achievements, rankings, etc. Essentially, anything rooted solely in the metagame or involving real money will be preserved. For convenience, after completing an expedition, players will be able to skip the majority of the onboarding and tutorial steps they went through as a new player. This being things like unlocking certain features, maps, etc. as they play through the early game. These will just be available from the start of a fresh reset. Now, aside the players who like the thrill of starting fresh, why would you willingly give up all of your hard-earned progress? Incentives. We are still finalizing the exact benefits and rewards, but they'll generally follow along these lines. Permanent account unlocks for each completed expedition. Unique cosmetic rewards for each completed expedition. Account buffs that are applied for the duration of the following expedition cycle. And sequential completions of these expedition projects increase the magnitude of these buffs, up to a limit. One point to drive home is that we are being very careful about the nature of these benefits. Completing a reset should never give a player a power or combat advantage over anyone who has not completed a reset. Initially, these benefits will center around cosmetics and bragging rights, quality of life, and smoothing out some aspects of progression for those who have gone through a reset. While any and all of this is subject to change between now, launch, and post-launch, that is about the shape of it right now. By making the reset mechanic voluntary and properly incentivized, we hope to observe 2 results. 1. Players who are highly engaged can experience the game fresh on a regular basis while earning some benefits. 2. Players who have less time to dedicate to the game don't have their progress reset outside their control. They are always able to keep moving forward at their own pace if they choose so. It's not a silver bullet, and won't achieve the clean break that a mandatory global reset does. But it does aim to be more fair to all players. Wherever possible, we want to value your time spent in the game as much as you do. So that wraps up the blog post. I'm incredibly happy that we're gonna have wipes, and it's not gonna be a mandatory one, so the game won't force you for anything. I'll be absolutely grinding for all the projects, Expedition projects, Apollo 13 project, whatever you guys have, give them to me. I also can't wait for Trials, the competitive side of the game, which we discussed in this video. You must check it out.